Hello, I'm Chaplain Larry Crabtree. I serve with the St. Mary's County Sheriff's Office and the Maryland State Police, the Leonardtown Barracks.
And I'm Charlie Wharton. I'm the chaplain with the St. Mary's County Sheriff's Department.
And we're really glad to be with you today. I know so many of you who know who we are. We have relationships with you. We really miss you. And I know you love to look at our lovely faces when we show up at the headquarters or, having to move that stuff out of the seats. I know how much you love that. We do ride-alongs. But, hey, now you've got our mugs to look at.
And it just doesn't get much better than this, does it?
I know. Yeah, they're lucky. Well, hey, Charlie, the reason, of course, that we're doing this is to provide some form of encouragement to these people that we care so much about. And as talking together, we thought it might be a good idea to just talk about compassion fatigue. And we're going to take a number of video clips over several weeks to discuss this subject. But right now, today, if we're going to talk about compassion fatigue, we have to know what that is. So what do we mean when we're talking about compassion fatigue?
If you spend a lot of time working with crisis, one of the things that's going to keep coming up is you just feel overwhelmed by what you're dealing with. And this can come from years and years of exposure to it, or it can come from a series of very, very serious events that come one after another. And basically, a simple definition of compassion fatigue is just caring too much. You just get so overwhelmed by being called upon to invest emotionally in what you're doing that it either eats you up or it shuts you down.
And of course, I think we're concerned with this right now because of what's going on with all this COVID-19 stuff.
Yeah, you can't turn on the TV, you can't turn on social media, you can't even have a conversation. In fact, you and I have been talking for 10 or 15 minutes right now. How many times have we brought it up?
Yes.
Just in our conversations.
Yeah, it's life, and I think it makes an impact. And what is the impact really on law enforcement officers, on first responders? I mean, is it really that significant?
The reason people get into law enforcement, a lot of times people think it's to drive fast and shoot guns. But really, the reason you get into law enforcement and the reason you get into first responders, any kind of first responders profession, is because you care about people. You want to make a difference. In fact, I didn't sit in on any of your interviews, but I could probably tell you that one of your answers was, why do I want to do this? Because I want to make a difference. And what happens is we translate that into our everyday experience, and eventually our buckets just get so full of caring about people that we don't know what to do with it.
So this is something that can happen, this compassion fatigue. Even if there wasn't this COVID-19 pressure, that still can impact people in this kind of profession.
It really does. And we see it from social services perspective. We see it from first responders. We see it from ministry. Ministers are some of the worst about having to deal with this. And so this is something that we deal with on a routine basis, sometimes better than other times.
Yeah. So Charlie, if this is an issue and it's prevalent among law enforcement, first responders, what are some signs, some way you'd recognize that you're actually being impacted by compassion fatigue?
I think sometimes we go from a sense of helplessness to a sense of hopelessness. And what I mean by that is that there are just so many things that we're called upon to deal with that I don't know how I can help anymore. And if that's not dealt with very early on, it translates into there's no hope. I'm always going to feel this way. I'm never going to be able to make a difference. And if we take it one step further, that has a tendency to take us into cynicism, and that is there's nothing good out there. And that's where it becomes very dangerous.
So I think it's a good topic to discuss, and I'm looking forward to some more information that we're going to be talking about. In some of our next segments, we're going to deal specifically with the ways that we can deal with compassion fatigue, how we prevent it or how we overcome it if it's beginning to impact us. So looking forward to what we're going to be talking about there. But in the meantime, we care about you, and we'll simply say be strong
And be safe.